Namibia is the kind of place that makes a vehicle feel very small. Not because the road's difficult or the distances are long, though both can be true. It's because the country never seems to end where you expect it to. The horizon opens, the ground changes, and the same vehicle keeps moving through landscapes that feel as though they belong to different worlds. Along the way, the past remains visible, but it never stands alone. A shipwreck lies beside the ocean. Animals move across plains renewed by rain. Sand fills rooms people once lived in, while new tracks cross ground older than memory. Namibia holds things weathered by millions of years, and things only just beginning, often within the same day. Our route begins on the Orange River. We head north to Aus, then west through the dunes to the Atlantic. From Walvis Bay and Swakopmund, we turn inland through the Namib-Naukluft, then loop south towards Lüderitz, Kolmanskop, Mesosaurus and the Fish River Canyon. From there, we cross Namibia north once more, into Etosha during the wet season. This film brings our original Namibia chapters together with footage that never made the episodes. And for us, it all begins here, on the banks of the Orange River. Time for our final packing check. Couldn't you use a smaller car, they said? Couldn't we pack less? Let's choose something to leave out. What should we leave behind? All of this has to somehow fit inside the car. Not sure how that's going to happen. Fortunately, I have a lot of experience getting big things into tight places. So that's got to get in there.
With the car finely packed and only slightly heavier than a small apartment, we left Noritsama and pointed north into Namibia. At Aus, the convoy came together. Tires down, instructions went out, and everyone started pretending they knew exactly what was coming. Next up, the dunes. Where are we driving, Dave?
Namib-Naukluft National Park, and it's raining.
It's raining in the desert.
It only rains 3 days a year here. So we've got one of them.
That's amazing. Look at the green little sprouts coming up. 3 days a year of rain, and we're lucky enough to see one of them. Who's this car driving in front of us?
That's our guide, Jakkels, showing us the way through the desert.
Thank goodness for Jakkels. You see that in front of us? There's some clouds and then a bit of light.
Dark bank in the distance.
Yeah, there's a dark bank in the distance. What is that?
That's the dunes.
The dunes. The dunes. It looks like a mountain. And why is this significant?
So we have to go up it.
We're gonna go up it? Alright. The dunes. What's happening, Dave? And what went wrong?
No idea.
How many times have you tried?
Getting up the dunes is not as simple as pointing the car at the top and hoping the laws of physics are feeling generous. especially when you haven't done it before. Under Jakkel's guidance, we started learning the basics properly. Tire pressure, happy gear, enough speed before the climb, and, most importantly, learning to go much faster at the start than your brain thinks is reasonable. The first attempts were not always elegant. Some cars didn't make it up. Some turned around and took the easier route, and some of us had to quietly recalibrate what we thought the vehicle and the driver were capable of. But that's the strange thing about sand. What looks impossible at first slowly becomes manageable, then repeatable, and then almost enjoyable. So, instead of cutting straight past it, we've left in a few longer moments from that first day. Not because anything dramatic happens every second, but because this is what dune driving really feels like. The engine working, the tires floating, the sand moving underneath you, and everyone pretending they are completely relaxed.
Tell the people behind us not to come. They're coming.
Where are they going?
I don't know. I don't know where they're going. Shibbit. Oh! Okay, this is stupid. Tell the people to stop. Yeah. This is the Uri Hoogap Mountains. And we've just descended into the valley. In the Bushman language, Uri means to bounce, like a springbok when they jump, all four legs. So it's to bounce, but they're not sure what the Hoogap part means. But yeah, it's absolutely breathtaking. The Uri Hoogap Mountains. The Namib is often called the oldest desert on Earth, with parts of it believed to have been dry or partly dry for at least 55 million years. It stretches along the Atlantic coast for well over 1,000 kilometers, but it's not just one endless sea of sand. As you move through it, the landscape keeps changing. High dunes, gravel plains, dry riverbeds, exposed rock mountain passes, and wide open valleys. Some of the sand has travelled extraordinary distances, carried by rivers, moved by ocean currents, and then blown inland by the wind. In places, the dunes rise more than 300 meters high, but the mountains and rock layers around them tell an even older story, shaped by pressure, erosion, and time, long before anyone tried to drive through it. For an overland route, that makes the Namib feel less like a road and more like a slow crossing through different versions of the same desert. The color of the sand changes constantly, not only because of what it's made of, but because the light changes everything as the day fades. By evening, we reached Bushman's Paradise, where the driving stopped, the fire was lit, and the desert became a very good excuse to open a bottle of wine. So beautiful. A room with a view. Look, I'm lying in the tent. Morning coffee and rusks. And IMAX on steroids. It's so beautiful.
After a full day of sand, noise, engines revving, and everyone finding their rhythm in the dunes, Waking up in the desert felt like a complete reset. The same place that had pushed us around the day before was suddenly quiet, soft, and almost impossibly still. Just morning light, fresh tracks in the sand, and that strange feeling that you've somehow parked right in the middle of a place that feels completely untouched.
Waar, daar's nog 'n slangetjie. Waar's hy? Oh, kan ek hom afneem? Oh my word, dis amazing. Ja, ek gaan. Ek is besig. Hy is wonderlik.
Of course, peace and quiet can only last so long when there are people nearby with interesting camping contraptions.
Nou moet jy lag ook.
Hoekom moet ek lag? Dis amazing. Ek dink dis amazing. Wie het hierdie ding gebou?
Ek.
Van scratch af. Dis fantasties. Die spitbraai tent. Oh my word. Dis amazing. 'n Spitbraai tent.
Wat is dit?
Ek kan dit nie glo nie. Kan ek maar so 'n bietjie afneem?
Wat daar is die wang?
Yes.
Laat ek die tent opstaan. Binnekant is 'n queen size matras
'n queen size matras.
met 'n voorkamer en 'n plekkie vir jou borreltjies, 'n pilletjies.
Nee. Dis amazing. Ek love dit. Julle, dis so cool. 'n Spitbraai. Dis fantasties. Queen size bed met 'n rakkie daar agter.
Ja,
Dis so awesome. Waar al die goedjies kan insit.
en kyk hierso is 'n rubbertjie waar jy jou
O, jou
wat jy kan sit en
vuil
bekyk.
voete. Dis slim. Dit gaan ek en kyk hoe Alex het die toue, want dan kan jy goedjies hang en
Ja, daar's 'n hangtouwtjie daar iewers toe.
kyk nou net. Wow. Dave driving. And we're still driving through the desert. It's beautiful scenery. Wonderful to see the different colors of the sand. Oh, what am I recording? This is in a dark place. Why don't you tell me? We are traveling back in time, as this area is truly a living museum. Diamonds were first discovered in Namibia in 1908, which led to a significant diamond mining industry in the region. The soft sand and rugged plains made the use of heavy machinery like bulldozers essential for diamond extraction and operations during the mid-20th century. And then we say hello to Susie, the faithful truck that once ruled these dunes with her 17-inch wheels with 12-pound air and powerful petrol engine. But even she couldn't escape the desert's grip. Today she remains here, a reminder that the desert is not just a playground, but a place that takes as much as it gives.
This is an old shed that was used as a way station when Namib Bay was a major importing route for the early miners here on the coast. This is the remains of an old cocoa pan that was used to move the cargo from the beach landing site up to the warehouse. And that looks like an old boiler. And this is what remains of the rail track that the cocoa pans ran along to get up to the storage area you can see in the distance. Now, this is a partially restored old wooden boat that they would row out to the vessels at anchor to bring the cargo back to the shore. And we understand that they battled to do that and eventually enlisted the help of West Africans that they brought down to carry out that function for them.
Those old pans, rails, and landing sites were not random ruins. They were part of a difficult little system of moving goods between ships, beach, and desert. By late afternoon, we got to follow that corridor for ourselves, now in a vehicle instead of behind a cargo team. We were driving with dunes on the one side and the Atlantic on the other. Ahead were the shipping wrecks, and behind every one of them was the same lesson. Out here, the coast let you pass only until it decides otherwise.
This is like doing the Dakar rally. Eh?
It's like doing the Dakar. Check here, up against that dune, like totally up against it. The Shawnee was a transport tug meant to sail through storms, but on the 16th of February 1967, the Namibian coast claimed her as another victim, just 15 miles north of Conception Bay. Even for ships built to withstand the harshest seas, the collision of ocean and desert was an insurmountable force. Today, her rusted remains are still washed by the waves, a reminder of the sea's relentless power. Further along the coast lies the Edward Bolen. Stranded in 1909, now nearly half a mile inland, she stands as a ghost ship, slowly swallowed by the sands of time. Together, these wrecks reveal a coastline unlike any other, where the sea meets the desert in an eternal battle.
Day 4 of our June adventure, and it's ups and downs, more and more dunes and dunes and dunes and dunes. Some of them are quite hair-raising, extremely steep. Hard to get up, hard to go down.
The car in front of us just said, "Okay, Dave, you can come. This is a bit of a rough one."
Ramsey and Japan on the
See. Goodness. MustBeMad! Oh my word. Oh my word. MustBeMad. What were we thinking? said, drive. You're not going to. You're not going. He says, don't drive like you're going to church. Drive like you're late for the bottle store. This looks like those YouTube videos, no? This is serious. No, this is not. Oh my goodness. I don't even know if I can do this now. Are we driving like around this thing? Around the ball? With a spoon? And if you're wrong, you're gonna roll.
Up the hill. Let's do that first.
Okay. Go, go, go. You can do it. Stay on the track. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No. Okay. Oh my word. Okay.
Descending ever steepening dunes with softer sand, we slowly make our way west with the jackals circling, hopefully not waiting for us to break down so that we can become their dinner. While travelling through the dunes, every attempt is made to climb vertically up one side and go straight down the other, but sometimes traversing a dune is unavoidable. Doing this high speed is very important. You have to go as fast as you can to keep the vehicle straight and not let the back start sliding down.
Hey, someone called me out. Hey.
Two vehicles got caught and Jakkels had to return and position himself to rescue the second vehicle. He had to make a number of attempts to get up the dune through the soft sand and eventually found a way around. It reminded us of the dangers of driving along these dunes. A vehicle could very easily roll when positioned on an incline like that.
Nou is dit net daai een.
Ag, geshampies. Die krag. Oh my goodness.
Sy Etosha duine.
Oh my word. Af.
Hou aan net. Ek is nou in jou
Jo.
op nog nie die regte duin nie. Jou happy kom ek hierdie pad langs, ja. Ding is uitgekom.
Happy keer!
Happy keer, kom, gou om. Steek kom!
Steek op stukkie.
Lord Happy is thinking right. He's in that passenger seat. Throughout the day, our guide, Guckles, tries to get us out the dunes and down onto the beach, but the rough seas are making it difficult. We're torn between wanting relief from the steep dune faces and the threat of the waves below. Eventually, the decision is taken. We're all very aware there's no way back. We cannot climb back up this dune. Once we're on the beach, we're on the beach. Now it's coming in. Gotta go, gotta push.
Tide's coming in. Go, go, go! Look at it! So we are down on the beach. Oh my word! Someone got stuck. Oh my word, guys.
Ry, as ek sê ry, dan moet jy ry. Gaan voor, albei gaan voor.
This is not funny. Actually, someone got stuck. We're down on the beach and the tide is coming in. So we took a gap because we thought if we go quick. If we go quick, then we won't get stuck. And now someone got stuck. So now it's very stressful because literally the tide is coming. Oh, guys!
Yes.
What happened?
Nothing yet. We're still not out of danger. The tide's coming in and we're stuck here. We get around some rocks up ahead there. The guide's trying to see how we get around, so let's see. Between a rock and a hard place.
This is not a laughing matter. This is very, very, very MustBeMad. Crazy. Stressful. Johnson?
Yeah, Bob.
Are you okay?
Yep.
How was that?
What about this turn around the corner here? Don't exactly have the smallest turning circle in the tour.
Oh my goodness. I see what you mean. we stuck? Oepsie, dankie jakkals. Woo!
Sterkte Jannie, dis erop.
Kom maar tussen, stop. Nou vast daar, zet hier mijn zee. Achter mij, kom, laat de kom draaien en man gaan halen. Ja, kerels, dat is niet goed hier. Achter mij, rij.
Oh my word.
Ja, maar dan kan er zoveel mooie zee om te gooien, niet te sukkeling.
Wie is dit?
Kom Johnny, man hier achter mij, rij. Kan je voor toe gaan en daar om gaan terugtrekken? Kom maar knijp hier zo. Kom.
Kan jij van die kant af gaan? Kan jij skuif?
Waar wat kan verby gaan waar die vassit gaan. Kan ek links verby hom?
Gaan voorbij en stoot dat je leeg komt.
Links verby.
What day? How was it? I'm filming. Tell me how it was.
For a moment, nobody knew exactly how the recovery was going. Then the weather cleared, the missing cars came back into view, and the whole beach seemed to breathe again. It was a fitting end to the guided desert route. Over the past few days, we had learned more about sand driving than we probably expected to learn this early in the trip. Tire pressures, momentum, dune lines, recoveries, and how quickly a calm drive can become a serious one. As a first real test on a journey around the world, Namibia had not exactly started us gently, but it had given us a very useful crash course. From there, the convoy began to split, and the pace changed. Before heading back into the desert on our own, we needed to catch up on the less glamorous side of travelling, backing up on footage, doing some work, restocking supplies and sorting out the next camps. So we made our way north towards Swakopmund, before turning east again into the wide open spaces of the Namib-Naukluft. Our first stop was a spectacular moon landscape. So today we're taking a drive through the Namib-Naukluft Park, and we're at Walvis Plains, and this is the Swakop Valley moonscape that we're having a look at. Incredible scenery, dead silence, nothing around. Just us in this desolate area.
Here we've got a clear example of a black ridge of dolerite that snakes across the hills. Dolerite is a hard rock which weathers more slowly than the surrounding rocks, and this results in a thin band of black dolerite along the hilltops. It's really beautiful to see. This is a very good example.
Here's one of the quite rare Walvis. In the middle of the desert, possibly 1,000 years old. Some tin cans and bottles, that is the remains of the waste left behind by South African Army that camped here a long time ago in 1915. They obviously didn't clean up after themselves in those days.
From the moon landscape, the road carried us deeper into the Namib-Naukluft, towards Bloedkoppe, our first night camping on our own after the guided desert route. Bloedkoppe is an isolated granite hill, known for the red colour it takes on in the low light, but it is more than just a dramatic campsite. Around it, the desert shifts again. Gravel plains, dry riverbeds, exposed rock and wide valleys, all shaped by heat, wind and time. After the intensity of the dunes and the strange silence of the moon landscape, it felt like the right place to stop, settle in and let the desert become quiet around us again.
There goes Macht up the mountain. I'll stop to take a photo and have a breather. Macht in true Top Gear fashion. Didn't wait for me. I need to catch up somehow. This is our campsite at Bloedkoppe. This morning we're climbing up to the peak and have a look at the view. Right up there. Almost at the top of Bloedkoppe now. In the distance you can see mining activities. That's a uranium mine. A little bit of a blot on the landscape. I'm a firm believer in we have to give up 10% of the habitat to preserve the other 90%. That's a good deal. We have to feed the children, we need the money. We can't just look at the mountains. Finally at the top. Now I just need to find the cable car to get back down. Also, be careful where you put your feet and hands, because when you dislodge one of these loose pieces, there could be snakes, scorpions underneath it. Ruin your day. So we're in this beautiful, pristine area. And my little rant for today. The area is littered with toilet paper. More toilet paper stuck in the bushes, left out in the open. More there. Now, there's a toilet provided just over there that you could use, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Also provided right here, 3 beautiful bins. You might think toilet paper is biodegradable. Well, it is, but it requires water with very least moisture, and there's none of that out here, so it can last for months and months and months blowing around the environment. Put in a bag, take it home, put it in the bin. Moving south and making our way to the Q-Ship Canyon, the roads are typically very good. They're going easy and relaxed, and we only see one other vehicle the whole day. We're on the lookout for wildlife. They're pretty skittish here, and when we get close, they're off running. But we have been told there's plenty around that have adapted to the very dry environment. We are lucky enough to see oryx, zebra, jackals, springbuck, ostriches, ground squirrels, and many, many birds. Trying to capture them on film is another matter altogether, and leads to some hot debate in the car on who did what when.
Film is on. Go.
So switch it off. Is it filming?
It's filming.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Leaving the wildlife behind, we carried on south towards the Q-Seb River Valley. The roads were easier now, and for long stretches we saw almost no one else. Just open gravel, distant mountains, and the occasional animal disappearing before the camera could prove it was ever there. The Q-Seb is one of those places where the desert suddenly feels carved open. Dry for much of the year, but still important enough to shape the land around it, the river has cut a deep line through the landscape and helped hold back the sea sand to the west. By the time we reached the top of the pass, the view had done what good views often do on this trip. Convinced us it was time to stop and cook something.
And roll.
Okay, so today we're in front of the Q-Seb River Valley. We're at the top of the mountain pass. And it seems like a good place to make brunch. So today we're going to have a omelette with our leftover items. Should we start that again? Cut. And today we're making an omelette with cheese, biltong, tomato. We get a bit of olive oil in. We add some butter. Not so easy in this breeze. Then I get some biltong in there. Essentially dried beef, cherry tomatoes. Just going to get a bit of heat through this. So now I need let's put our egg in. And get a bit of cheese in. Put a nice mature cheddar. You need a little bit of pepper. Now we can start to fold this over. Go, and it nearly fits. Beautiful omelette, a few more little bits of biltong. There we go, our first attempt at cooking outdoors, reasonably successful.
From the Kosep River Valley, we turned west towards Maribiep, a campsite that looked peaceful, isolated, and very unlikely to come with neighbors. On the way, we crossed the Tropic of Capricorn, which felt like a suitable official marker for heading further into the desert. The campsite sits under a huge rock formation, rising out of an almost perfectly flat plain, and as it turned out, the no neighbors part was optimistic.
So we're camping at Maribiep campsite. Beautiful place. Unfortunately being harassed by a family of dussies or rock rabbits. Really not afraid of us and will approach very closely to within a meter and have jumped on the tables to steal scraps of food. Now they very obviously have been fed by ignorant people who camp here. Really stupid thing to do, so now they've become a pest. The only possible result is they're going to bite somebody, or a child with food in its hand, and then they'll be culled. And I hope the people that feed them are very proud of what they've done.
Sunset. It's unbelievable.
For a moment, Maribiep made it very easy to forget about the dust, the dussies, and everything else that comes with travelling alone. But the desert has a lovely way of giving you one peaceful evening and then reminding you the next morning that you still have to fix your own problems. We've woken up to a bit of a problem this morning that the lithium batteries overdrained, so we need to try and wake it up.
No, I think
To
we'll
do
get
that,
it.
we need some jumper cables. We're hoping it'll,
Can I help you?
don't touch those two together. Wake it up.
Did it work? That's what we want. On the right where it says 8.7 whatever now. That means it's charging. Fantastic. Good result, Mr. Johnson.
Yes. I lose track here. Once we're in the car, phone's charging, we'll see. But had a fantastic evening. Slept like rocks, literally. Went to bed quite early. And yeah, up for the next day's adventure. Dave just had to jump start the lithium battery because it was drained when we woke up this morning. It does charge through the solar panels as well as through the car's alternator. But sometimes you can drain it. Luckily, there's a backup system to start it with the jumper cables. So basically we're just packing up now and then we'll be on our way.
Bring these a bit closer. You want to make sure that you've got a good set of jumper cables with you. Thick cables, not those thin little ones that are cheap in supermarkets. You want to go to a proper automotive store and get a thick jumper cable so that you can get a proper current flowing through it. You want 40 or 50 amps or 60 amps to flow through it. It can't do that on a small cable, and it can't do that for very long. If it does do it on a small cable, it might melt out. And you want to make sure you've got good quality, strong grips on it. Something like that. When I pack my jumper cables away, cable tie them, clip off the ends. I don't leave this lying around at the campsite for other people to have to look at, my waste. Take it with you. Every little bit of dirt. Take it out with you.
Leaving Maribib, the rock walls fell away and the desert opened back into flatness. After dunes, canyons, camps and a few practical reminders, we were off on a southern detour to Zebra Pan. Basically, nothing, surrounded by even more nothing, which in Namibia usually means it's worth having a look.
And we're at Zebra Pan this morning. Miles and miles of nothing. Certainly no zebras. We have the remains of an old windmill here at Zebra Pan. And the reservoir. Clearly not in operation anymore. And other than that, peace and wide open spaces.
Then onto Gorop mine.
We're at the Gorop mine, an abandoned prospecting mine site. There's been a lot of exploration here. All the grey things you can see in the foreground are core samples that have been drilled. And no mine is opened here. There's been a lot of exploration here. It seems like mining might start in the next few years. You can see a light green tinge in the rock here, which I think might be indicating presence of copper. Here in some of the exploration pits that have been dug, more evidence of the green tinged rock as they've dug their way looking for the copper deposits. And what would you build on a mine so far away from the other buildings? Yep, inside there is a long drop. Look at that. Talk about a loo with a view. It's got a rate amongst the top in the world. Some of the remains of buildings on the exploration site. Some dating back to when the Germans first started exploring here in 1900.
After Zebra Pan and the old prospectant sites, we headed south towards Homeb, where the road started pulling us back towards the dunes. At first, it looked like open gravel and hard rock, but slowly the red sand began to return on the horizon. The roads dropped towards the old river line, where trees appeared in the dry riverbed, giving the landscape a clear edge, rock and river course on the one side, dunes on the other. From above, the contrast made even more sense. You could see how the riverbed cuts through the desert, holding a thin line of life between the rock and sand. And once the road opened out again, it became exactly the kind of place where Dave starts looking for shade, a flat surface, and a reason to unpack the kitchen.
Right, today we're in the middle of nowhere, literally. Absolutely nothing for miles around. We're stopping for lunch, and we're going to have pastrami, beef, and cheese wraps. Chop it up. to the back. Next time I can try to find a spatula. Give it another flip. Should be a beer, but we've run out. As you can see, there's no bottle stores here. Get this chap out of here. 30-degree burns. There we go. Delicious ham and cheese.
After an excellent lunch in the middle of nowhere, we're heading to the last campsite of this part of the trip. Our last night will be spent at the Vogelverderberg campsite, and it's our final evening beneath the vast, star-filled desert skies before we head back to Walvis Bay.
Hi, Dave. What are you doing?
Playing Fortnite. The first time ever in the history of the world, Fortnite's been played in the middle of the Namib-Naukluft National Park. And I'm protecting my crown.
Let me have a look. Wait.
This stretch through the Namib-Naukluft had been unforgettable. The roads became easier, the camps became quieter, and the desert started showing a different side of itself. Less about the challenge of getting through it, and more about the strange reward of slowing down inside it. Every evening seemed to end with ancient rock catching the last colour of the day, and every night reminded us just how far we were from anything. But this was not the end of Namibia. From here, the route turned south again, back towards Aus and Lüderitz, where the desert changes from open space into old stories, abandoned places, and history half buried in the sand. Today we're driving from Swakopmund down to Aus. We're going to meet some other people there and do a bit of touring around Aus and Kolmanskop and see the desert horses, wild horses. We did some shopping this morning in Swakop first thing. Went to the Makwa butchery, very nice meat. And put our things together, and we've sort of taken the dirt road which heads between Walvis Bay and Aus and takes you through Solitaire and Cesrim. Beautiful scenery. We're expecting some mountain passes shortly. Having a pleasant day.
Departing the Aus Haven and Rest Camp where we stayed for 2 nights, we're now on our way to Kolmanskop, a once thriving diamond town, now reclaimed by the desert sands. It's a journey into Namibia's rich history and the beauty of its untamed landscapes.
Kolmanskop, which started at the turn of the century in about 1905 with the discovery of diamonds. By the mid-50s was abandoned.
house. Must have been the architect's house. Let's head inside. The interest in a place like Kolmanskop mining town is how the sand has taken over the houses. This house would have been abandoned sometime between 1920 and 1950. And yet the colours and the patterns on the wall are still so evident.
Most of the buildings at Kolmanskop are slowly being overtaken by the desert. And of course, wouldn't be humans without stupidly leaving indelible marks on the walls. These rooms form part of the historic record of Kolmanskop and describe in detail various aspects of the growth of the mining in this area. This room is dedicated to means people employed to try and steal diamonds from the operating area, particularly from the mine. Pictorial displays of the progress of mining, different methods used. This is the gymnasium. Apparently the Germans always built a bowling alley and a gymnasium wherever they went. And underneath the old shop, where the bowling alley was situated. And this is the inside of the bowling alley, or skittles, whatever the Germans called it.
From Kolmanskop, we made a quick detour out to Diaz Point, where the Lüderitz Peninsula runs into the Atlantic and Namibia changes mood again. It was the perfect place for lunch, a bit of sea air, and time for me to put my newly acquired 360 camera expertise to very generous use.
So, and then we put it on the side, so when we're driving, it's almost like having a drone. Or you can stand with it, sort of literally getting them and us and yes, and then in the editing you can split it however you want. It's really cool. Insta 360, 360. 3 meters long, eh?
Wow, 3 meters long. That's really nice. Really high.
Driving along the B4 highway, we were thrilled to spot Namibia's famous wild horses grazing near the roadside, a rare and unforgettable experience. Some say they are descendants of German cavalry horses from World War I, while others believe they originated from a stud farm abandoned during colonial times. They have adapted remarkably to the harsh conditions of the Namib Desert over the last century. Surviving on sparse desert grasses and limited water, their ability to endure extreme temperatures is a testament to their strength and resilience.
We're heading to the Mesosaurus Fossil Camp, home to one of Namibia's most fascinating prehistoric discoveries. Whether you're a history enthusiast, nature lover, or just seeking adventure, the Mesosaurus Fossil Camp promises an unforgettable journey through time and the opportunity to connect with Namibia's rich geological and cultural heritage. This afternoon we're going on a guided tour to have a look at fossils of the Mesosaurus, which is an amphibious animal that existed 250 million years ago. That's 60 or 70 million years before dinosaurs.
Welcome at the Mesosaurus Fossil Site. You are very welcome to make photos and videos as many as you want to. Please ask questions. Ja, en ek het vir 14 dae my ander bril het net hierdie lens gehad. Hierdie glas was uit. Nee. About 30 years ago, I built this road here. And while I was working here on my tractor, my son played around here. He was 10 years old. And he called me from the tractor and he showed me a piece of sediment like this with marks on the side. And then I hit it on a crack and it fell open on a piece of a fossil. And then I found my brother-in-law. At that stage he was a zoology professor at the University of Stellenbosch. And I told him that I found a salamander fossil. But he said, no, that's not possible. A salamander is too young. It cannot be fossilized. So when he came here again for a visit, he took a small part of the fossil with him to the university and he asked around there. And a certain Dr. Burger Olofsson worked in his department. And Dr. Olofsson told him this is the Mesosaurus. He wrote his PhD about these fossils. And I'm so lucky I know him very well and we became very good friends and I learned a lot from him. Sure. Now you see the Mesosaurus looked like that picture in the reception, like a small crocodile with a long snout with long thin teeth. But the teeth were too weak to catch prey. They only use it to filter the food out of the water like a whale. And do you know Gondwana? The old supercontinent. So Dr. Olofsson said they reckon that around about 280 million years ago, southern Africa as a part of Gondwana was covered with a thick ice layer, like the South Pole nowadays. And around about 250 million years ago, as it became hotter, the ice started to melt and it filled all the hollow parts on the continents. And during that stage, there was a very shallow inland sea over southern Africa and South America, with lots of swamps. And these creatures lived in that shallow sea. 250 million years ago, that makes them some of the oldest reptile fossils ever found in southern Africa. But okay, I show you this one. Here we have a very nice one. This is the one in the magazine. Please make photos from it. Hello. And there you see the print of the neck with the print of the spine with prints of ribs. And the tail also eroded away. Ach toch. These creatures had long, strong tails. They were probably very strong swimmers. And there you can see the hind leg with the femur, the tibia and the fibula with the 5 toes. You can see the nails, and if you look closely here, you see this middle toe was dislocated. Now these creatures, they lived here in the late Carboniferous era and in the early Permian era, and they reckon with all the plants in the water became a little bit acid at the seabed, and over many years the acid in the water dissolved the bones, and it left only prints. And that is the reason why we have so many fossils. You see, I have this fossil. I have it really for a very long time. And we have lots of these fossils. And I'm going to look for a new one to show to the people. This is a very old one there. We have lots of them. Now later on, the soft soil eroded away and it left only the rock towers on top of each other. And there were different kinds of erosion. But one very simple kind of erosion was from heat and cold. They made cracks vertically and horizontally over thousands of years, and it formed these blocks. And now the people from abroad ask me if we built it like that. But I tell them, no, we do not work so hard in Africa. But may I play you some music on these rocks?
Yeah.
You are very welcome to make videos from it. And please tell me the name of the songs. Okay? Sien jy, daar haak my kop weer uit.
Dis okay.
Nee, dis nie hy nie. Jingle bells.
Jingle bells.
Hy kom baie mooi uit. Moet ek Engels praat? In this area is the old Sun people. They took a dry branch like this They hollow these softer parts out. They put a kind of skin underneath there, and then they carried their arrows inside it. So that was the quiver. From there the name quiver tree, but it's very light. But you see, this is not a tree, it's an aloe. One see it on the leaves. And the botanical name is the Aloe dichotoma. Dichotoma stems. They always divide into 2 equal stems, always. But very interesting, one morning when we came here, we found this branch lying here on the ground. And on the tracks we saw it was broken down by a kudu bull with the horns, and then the kudu ate the leaves. Now the juice inside the leaves is very bitter. So we reckon that the bitterness goes through the system of the animals into the bloodstream, and then the parasites fall off. That is nature's remedy against parasites for wild animals. Nature is so perfect, we know so little about nature. Do you know aloe vera?
Yeah.
The juice inside the leaves, it's the same as aloe vera. It's very good for cuts, for burns, for mosquito bites. It's also good for sunburn. And as it is so very, very bitter, it's also good for stomach problems, for it's not poisonous. And you see, I also tried it here, but I was not successful. You see, doesn't let the hair grow.
Some places stay with you because of what they show you. This one stayed with us because of who showed it to us. In a few hours, our guide turned fossils, rock layers, strange trees, and an possibly old landscape into something warm, funny, and alive. At Mesosaurus, Namibia stopped feeling like empty space again and became deep time under our feet. So we camped there for the night, with the stones cooling around us before the road pulled us towards one last giant in the south. As we head toward the Fish River Canyon, we are awestruck by one of Namibia's most iconic natural wonders, and the second largest canyon in the world. Carved over millions of years by the mighty Fish River, this geological marvel stretches 160 kilometers in length, plunges to depths of up to 550 meters, and showcases dramatic rock formations that tell the story of Earth's ancient past.
But first, we stopped at Canyon Roadhouse for some retail therapy, and then a quick visit to Naute Kristall cellar and distillery to get rid of our fear of heights, by way of some Dutch courage.
So we arrived at the Canyon campsite. That's basically behind very famous Canyon Roadhouse. And what a find. Comes Dave, some wood, got some ice.
Inside Naute Kristall cellar and distillery, the quick stop became a small tasting room detour, complete with polished copper stills imported from Germany. Very educational, obviously, and possibly the most responsible way to prepare for standing on the edge of Namibia's biggest drop.
No, it's just recorded now.
see the clouds? What it's doing on the...
Cute, man. Now it's recording.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know, because now it's moving.
Okay, it's MustBeMad and friends. And family and friends. No special rates yet for friends and family, but...
Standing above Fish River Canyon, it felt as though much of this journey had been written in stone. Fossils beneath our feet, towns slowly returning to the sand, shipwrecks left beside the ocean, and landscapes shaped long before any of us arrived. But Namibia still had another side to show us. From the canyon we turned north and crossed the country once more towards Etosha, where water, movement and new life would begin changing the story.
Etosha National Park, one of Namibia's most famous wildlife reserves, stretching over 22,000 square kilometers. At its heart lies the Etosha Pan, an enormous shimmering expanse visible even from space. In the dry season, animals depend entirely on artificial waterholes, gathering in spectacular concentrations, while the pan itself is a lifeless desert of cracked white clay. But when the rains arrive, Etosha transforms dramatically, and not in a bad way.
The once arid pan floods, becoming a shallow, life-giving lake, attracting thousands of migratory birds. Calving season coincides with these rains, bringing new life and vibrant greenery that blankets the landscape. Roads become muddy and travel conditions challenging. But for those willing to explore, the rainy season reveals Etosha in a completely different light. This is the Etosha we're here to see, lush, alive, and rarely witnessed.
We've been there quite a few times before, but what's different this time is that it's in the middle of the rainy season, so the pan should be completely full of water, and that's what we're hoping to see. Hopefully the roads are manageable in the wet, but we're quite excited to see what it looks like. Roads are a little bit muddy, quite a bit of water patches to drive through, but they're not very deep at the moment. Some of the roads are a bit sticky. Cars getting full of mud if nothing else. We're going deeper into the park, expecting it to deteriorate as we go. And we're not seeing much at all, except lots and lots of green grass.
It's beautiful. Don't you think?
The open plains seem still, but after the rains, it's the air that stirs first. When the pans flood and the grasslands shimmer green, the skies deliver their long-distance guests. Abdim's storks, sharp-eyed, fast-winged, riding the thermals down from East Africa. Pelicans drift in from coastal lagoons, trading salt for the fresh inland shallows. And flamingos paint the water pink in search of algae-rich pools. For a few short weeks, Etosha becomes a crossroads, a quiet invitation answered by wings.
We're approaching a very, very rare sighting in Etosha. Very excited to be able to show you this. I never thought I'd ever see one in this game park. Admittedly, it's not moving, but it is here. Isn't that incredible? Wow, I think we're going to have to stop and take some photos. Doesn't look like it's moved in a while. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. Sure. Wonder if they know what to do with it.
The raider is not the only one putting down roots. These local birds never got the memo to migrate.
What's interesting about these birds is that they build the largest nest out of any bird. And it can have up to 500 chambers inside it. Quite a phenomenal piece of work.
As day turns to night, the noise softens, the sky deepens, and the wet season whispers that it's not done yet.
It is raining, and we're on the corrugated roads. It's a sign that says men at work. Well, I don't know how far away they are. They're not here. The corrugations somehow feel worse in the rain. And you can see them more clearly because there's a puddle in every hollow. So it's not even like they'll take you by surprise. You can see them coming and it's really miserable.
You can see all of them.
We stop now at the pan. As you can see, it's filling up with water. As far as the eye can see is water. There are a few islands still left. They might get covered. Water's not very deep from what we hear. 3 or 4 inches deep. But the pan is 60 kilometers wide roughly and 100 kilometers long. It's an enormous area. It's a lot of water lying there.
Rekken lekker.
Nice hot coffee at the waterhole. Well, it's not a waterhole, is it? It's Etosha pan, but it's got water.
Such a privilege to see it like this, huh? Because we've been here many times before, but...
Good thing is there's no dust.
No, there's only mud.
The water doesn't just shape the land, it sets a rhythm. And when it reaches the plains, something ancient stirs. This is the season of new life. In Etosha, calving season follows the rains. As the pans fill and the grass returns, the timing is perfect. Nutrients are rich, water is abundant, and predators are momentarily distracted. Wildebeest, springbuck and zebra give birth in waves, flooding the plains with newborns. It's nature's calculated gamble. More young means better chances that some will survive. For a few weeks, the savanna becomes a nursery. Interesting fact about zebra. You can see the babies on the far side of the mother, but you can't see the baby. When they're born, their legs are the same length as their mother, so that their bellies are at the same height. So when a predator looks like we're looking at this now, you can't identify that there's little ones in the herd. And it's part of the zebra protecting its youngsters. Because obviously a newborn foal is an easy meal for just about everything.
little young ones. Very nice to see.
Today we're on our way from Okukuyo to Namatome. Left early in the morning. Beautiful sunrise at the moment. Got about 175 kilometers of corrugated roads to get up there. With our deviations, it's probably a full day drive when we stop to look at the various waterholes and sites along the way. Then we'll probably camp at Namatome. We didn't camp at Okukuyo because the campsite is miserable and it's been raining every day and there's no cover at that campsite, so you've only got whatever you bring. So we camped at a private campsite outside the park and just drove in every day. That private campsite had a little kitchen area undercover where we could leave things and be out of the rain. So we're looking forward to a good game sighting day today because we're going to be covering a lot of ground. Let the tires down, 1.5 in the front, 2 at the back. Could go a little bit more at the back if you're not so heavily loaded, but we've got everything in the car, we're heavily loaded again. So we can't let too much air out the back. But despite the soft tires, which does make the corrugations an easier ride, they still bone jarring as we progress up this road. It's also a main thoroughfare, this road, so there's a lot of cars that come racing up here. Because to go from Okukuyo or Aucho, one of those towns, all the way around to Namatome, I don't know the exact distance, but it's probably 150 or 200 kilometers more than taking this road up through the park. So I think a lot of people who want to head from the south to the north drive through the park just as a means of transit. And they definitely don't deflate their tires. They're not driving at game viewing speeds. I think the speed limit here is 60. They do anything from 60 to 80 to 90. Come flying past. So it's not a pleasant stretch of road. I think we've gone about 3 kilometers. I've really lost the will to live. So I don't know how we're going to do the next 172.
After days of rain and endless rough roads, the rewards of patience begin to appear. What first seemed like an empty grassland often holds far more than meets the eye. The wet season brings new life, and wherever there's new life, predators are never far behind. Hunters follow the herds, taking advantage of weakened or inexperienced prey. This is nature's way of ensuring only the fittest and strongest go on to populate further herds. Scavengers too thrive in this season of plenty, cleaning what's left behind. Together, they form a crucial part of Etosha's delicate ecosystem, a natural balance where every role, even in the shadows, has its place.
We are here in the beautiful Etosha, and we are currently in a beautiful location. They peninsula. God, so peninsula.
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 Not Shula, Sula.
They built a road for a lookout point about 1 kilometer into the pan on the peninsula. How do you say it? Say it again.
Peninsula.
The peninsula.
They built a peninsula.
They built a peninsula, and that is where we are now. It is breathtaking. It's just pan all around us. It's a beautiful place to stop and take a break from the driving.
Progress here isn't rushed. In the wet season, even the smallest traveller has the right of way. And sometimes, slowing down is how you see the most. Long patch of water here with looks like a lot of mud.
In 500 meters, turn left onto C38.
Need to enter it cautiously, not too fast in case there's a sudden hole. Keep a steady pace. Don't know how deep it's going to get. Want to keep the water pushed in front of the car. Slow and steady. Give yourself time to panic. There we go, not too bad. So we've completed our drive from Okukuyu to Namatoni. We got through the gate at about 7 this morning. It's 20 to 4. It's taken us 8 hours and 40 minutes. We haven't got a booking here. We're going to see if we can get some space for us to camp. I don't think it'll be a problem because it's out of season. So I'm sure we'll get a campsite. Be interesting to see what condition the campsite and the ablutions is in. Looking very quiet here, but we'll go to reception and see what we can do.
Camp reception on the left.
Can I show you my earrings that I got for my birthday on the 5th of March? Dave bought them for me today. Where did we buy them?
Halali.
Halali.
You waiting here? So we're in Etosha, and the corrugated roads have taken their toll, and some of the rivets have popped out of our solar panel. And that means water is now leaking into the tent. So, being the rainy season, we need to resolve that with some things. Hold it out. Okay, this rivet here. So before I put that new rivet in, I want to lift this a bit. Some sealant under there. Obviously sealant. It's glue, to be honest. Doesn't help to have the fattest fingers. Get our electric riveter sticking into the hole. There it is in the hole. There we go. Our binoculars and things that we put in this bag on the dashboard get extremely hot. So we bought one of these shields that you normally put in your windscreen, and we're chopping it up to make envelopes. We've done that one. An envelope of insulation foil put inside to try and stop the binoculars
From
and glasses and sunglasses and things getting too hot. There's not much science to this.
I think it's genius. If you do well at arts and crafts.
Why are you worried about the silver is?
It's the silver not reflecting
How much
heat.
sunlight's going to get
Not
to you?
on
Did you do art?
Yes, but my grandmother always did some of it for me.
Special needs.
No, not that there's anything wrong with that.
So we're using very good double-sided tape. You're basically just making a little envelope. Right, and once we've got the envelope to the right side, then we're putting some double-sided tape inside and gluing that on. And hopefully it stays more or less in position. Even the flies are losing their patience. And they've gone away. Beautiful thing. So this is now what we have. Insulation inside a leather pouch where we keep our binoculars and things while we're traveling. This gets very hot. So in go the binoculars, and that's our tip for today for the people who make these things. It'll be a hell of a lot easier to stitch into the inside of the fabric and the leather before you construct it. But I'm hoping that'll be nice and cool inside there now. We've been camping at Etosha at Namib. Camped for 3 days now, and we wanted to give you a quick campsite review. A typical site here, they give you 2 pieces of concrete, a little table, some concrete stools, reasonably grassed, although there's a bit of mud in quite of the areas. There's no pre-booked sites here, it's first come first serve. Rainy season at the moment, so quite a bit of slush and mud around, but there's our ablutions. What can I say? It's pretty run down. Let's go inside and have a look. Of the 2 toilets, only one has been working. I see the second one is unlocked now, so maybe they repaired it. Or maybe it repaired itself. Morning. Nicely stocked shop on site. Bit of dress wear, lovely ice creams, beers, savannas, so you can get some chops or lamb. It's interesting that they sell meat here and you can bring whatever meat you want into the park, but you can't leave with any. Whether you've bought it here, bought it outside, it doesn't matter. You can bring it in, you need to eat it while you're here. When you leave, they search, and we came in and out 5 days in a row, and 5 days in a row I completely unpacked my fridge and completely unpacked my freezer. They search for drones, they search for meat, and they search for firearms. So those things are out.
What happens if you bring your wife into this type of shop, though?
Bad idea.
Why?
End up buying clothing, which we have no space for. And the shop is open from 7 in the morning until 7 at night, which is quite convenient.
We turn towards the gate, but Etosha is not done with us yet. The rains have done their work, filling pans, feeding grass, bringing life. Now the season steadies, and we begin the slow journey out.
Is it on the road?
Yeah. It was not quite the majestic final shot we had planned. But then, very little about Namibia had unfolded exactly as expected. The road kept changing, and every time we thought we understood the country, it revealed something else. What began in heavy sand carried us through landscapes shaped over millions of years. Places slowly disappearing into the desert, and distances that made everything else feel very small. Then came Etosha, where the rain had brought movement, color, and new life back across the plains. Namibia felt ancient, but never finished. Empty, but never lifeless. One country, many different worlds, and one very long road connecting them.
We sold the house, the noise, the plans, traded clocks for open land. You smiled, the road's been calling, so we turned the key and drove till morning. Two souls chasing the